How to erase your mortgage without paying it off. Yes, I know. Noelle, paying your mortgage off is your biggest debt. It's responsible. It's smart. It's a safe thing to do. That is the thing that I hear all the time, but not from millionaires and billionaires. In this episode, I'm going to show you why it is completely financially insane to put extra money towards your mortgage. I'm going to share with you a better thing that you can do that's actually way smarter that almost no one is talking about. Let's go.
Noelle. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that, yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that, let's fix that.
I'm going to share with you the exact strategy that I use, and I'm going to share with you a link to the calculator with the real numbers so you can see the math. I'm going to share with you 5 easy steps to do this, and most of it just involves clicking a button. And I'm going to share with you a hidden secret that pretty much only rich people know. So let's get right into this. We are no longer in the 1970s, but we still have people giving the same advice from the 70s about paying off that biggest debt. For most people, their biggest debt is their mortgage. And people have been told you need to pay this off, and that is the safe, smart thing to do. But I'm going to break down how actually buying high yield dividends is a smarter idea, how you can actually do that. And I'm going to show you mathematically why you want to do this, and share with you a secret that a billionaire shared with me that no one is talking about. So the first thing that you need to know is this. One, almost anyone can do this. So regardless if you are in this situation 1, where you are saying, I am going to actually put down more money so that I can lower my mortgage payment. So in many cases, people will put down an extra $100,000 on a property because they're trying to lower their mortgage payment. That is situation 1. Situation 2 is where people actually send in extra money onto their monthly payments so that they can pay down the mortgage. You may have even heard this trick where you send in one extra payment per year to the mortgage company so that you can cut a 30-year mortgage down to like 23 years. This is true, and this is definitely something that you could do, but I'm going to show you mathematically what you should do instead of sending that $100,000 to the mortgage company, whether putting it down or whether sending those extra payments. And either way, the math works with what I'm going to show you. This is the real wealth system. You want to start buying high dividend ETFs. ETF stands for exchange traded funds. Exchange traded funds are a lot like stocks, but I think mutual funds where they're kind of all grouped together. Exchange traded funds, or ETFs, are very similar. Kind of think like when you go to McDonald's, you don't just buy a burger and then buy a fry and buy a soda. You'd actually rather buy a combo because it saves you money. This is kind of how ETFs work. It's a bunch of companies put together in one fund. So instead of going out and picking out different stocks for different companies, you can just buy an ETF. And you can buy an ETF that is paying monthly dividends like JEPQ. JEPQ. This is about a EFT that is from JP Morgan Chase. Now, quick disclaimer, Noelle Randall used to be a vice president at JP Morgan Chase Bank. I worked in the mortgage division, so I'm kind of biased. I really like Chase, but I also worked at Wells Fargo and Bank of America. And now that I am self-employed, I still think that Chase Bank was probably one of the best banks. They're great for, business credit cards and different things like that. But they also have this really amazing ETF that pays monthly dividends. Let me show you the math, because this is what you are going to do. And again, I'm going to break this down for you step by step. And by the end, you will be convinced of what I am saying. So let's start with a house that's not too far from me. You'll see this house right here. I found it. I just put a zip code that was really close to mine, not too far. This house is priced at $700,000. And you can see that is a beautiful house in Kissimmee, Florida. I'm just using this as an example. I went into MLS and just tried to find a property to kind of give you an example. I'm also now going to show you right here on the screen. For example, you buy this property for $700,000. Let's assume a down payment of 5%, which actually comes out to be $35,000. And let's assume that you are then going to get a mortgage for the rest of it. So of course, that will be a mortgage, principal mortgage balance of $665,000. That's what your mortgage is. And we're going to make up an interest rate of 6.5%. Your payment, including taxes and insurance, will be $5,655.34 per month, or $67,864 per year. Okay, so I basically just multiplied that $5,655.34. I times that by 12, and that's $67,864.08. So as you can see, that is what annually you are paying for this house. Okay, so I told you this was great for either situation, whether you're thinking of putting an extra $100,000 down to lower the payment, or if you were thinking, okay, my mortgage is $5,600, I'm going to send in extra payments. Let me share the math to you as to why, instead of doing that, if you have an extra $100,000 down, why it would be so much better to take $100,000 and invest it in the JEPQ EFT as an example, because this JEPQ is actually paying annual dividends at what comes out to be about 14%, so $7.45 per share. Like I said, right now this ETF is costing about $53 per share. So with $100,000, using that as an example, you would be able to get 1,887 shares. Now, with it paying $7.45 per share, that's the dividend, you would make about $14,058.15 per year, as you can see on this screen. So that's in year one. But to do this the smart way, you're actually going to do reinvestment, dividend reinvestment. So when they give you the dividends, instead of taking that cash for yourself, you're actually going to let it reinvest and then gain even more dividends. So the next year, in year two, instead of having 1,887 shares, if you reinvest, you would have 2,217 shares. Again, so that number would be even larger in dividend income for you. And all you have to do is automate this reinvestment, and you could actually see how this really, really builds. I'm actually going to put a link in the description box to a DRIP calculator. Okay, DRIP standing for dividend reinvestments. Okay, this is what we do. So you can actually look for any stock and any ETF and see about how much money, and then you can actually run a report, and you could see from this report, I did the math, by about year 5, year 6, you're actually covered your mortgage. Instead of taking that $100,000 and putting it towards your mortgage, the math would actually show that that money is now, you are now equal and making more in dividend income than you would have any other way. So now you actually have income. And I'm going to share with you how you can get access to this money, because you can actually use this as a savings account simply by getting a securities-backed line of credit. So this is an amazing thing that a millionaire, billionaire person, actually a billionaire, told me. I did not even know about these. So one of the first things that you want to do before you buy an ETF is you have to get a brokerage account, because just like the stocks, you can't just go to the store and buy stocks. You need a brokerage account. Now, there are tons of different brokerage companies, okay? Brokerage firms. So you may have heard of Fidelity, Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab is who I use. I'm going to put a link in the description box so you can open up your own Charles Schwab account, and it will even give you a discount. Charles Schwab is not paying me. This is not sponsored content. That is just who my brokerage firm is. But again, you have E-Trade, you have Fidelity, you have JP Morgan Advisors, you have Morgan Stanley. There are lots of brokerages that you can use to buy ETFs. Again, E-Trade is right online, but again, I suggest Charles Schwab, because I also have my IRA through there. I can buy mutual funds. I absolutely really love my Charles Schwab account. And then you can do what I just said, where you can get a security-backed line of credit. You literally can start leveraging that account and pulling some of that money out should you need it. You can borrow against your portfolio. This is amazing. So similar to how you could get a HELOC on your house, a home equity line of credit. Well, instead of trying to get more equity in your property so you could do a HELOC and pay a interest rate that, is pretty decent, a security-backed line of credit actually in many cases has lower interest rates than mortgage interest rates. So now you can grow a portfolio, put that money into that, and then you can even leverage that with a line of credit so you have access to those funds. Now, this is not a savings account, but it can be used similar to a savings account because it's money that you have. But the key to this is a long-term investment. And the key to this is reinvesting those dividends. So instead of taking that money, reinvest it, because it will compound. If you look at the DRIP calculator that I have put together, okay, I'm going to put this on the screen right now. you can see how this really compounds, how you just putting that money in there, starting at $100,000, how in just 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that money has really, really grown by reinvesting those dividends. Now, as I mentioned, an ETF is based on the stock market, so you might see where it goes down a little bit. Do not panic. Just like the stock market, generally speaking, if you leave it in there and you give it time, it will rebound. This is an amazing thing to do instead of sending extra money to the mortgage company. Okay, so here are quick 5 steps on how you are going to get this done. Number 1, you are going to stop putting money into your mortgage. You are going to stop sending them those extra payments. You are no longer going to do that. You now have a plan. Number 2, you are going to open a brokerage account. Again, I put links in the description box to my Charles Schwab. I have Charles Schwab, so you can get a Charles Schwab account as well, or you can get with any other brokerage account that you want to, but you're going to make sure that you click the box to enable redistribution of the dividends. Okay, that is very, very important that you enable that. It automatically does that. Number 3, you are going to start sending that extra money that you were sending to the mortgage company. You are going to start sending that to get ETFs. Okay, put more money into those funds and buy more and more shares of JEPQ, using this as an example. Again, you can do any ETF that's high yield, but again, JEPQ is one that I'm recommending because it's one that is paying out monthly and it is high dividend, it's high dividends. Okay. Number 4, you are then going to track your dividend income. You want to make sure that you are making more money from your dividend income and kind of tracking it against your mortgage so you can compare and see about when that break even point comes. And then number 5, you are going to apply for an SBLOC in around year 3 or 4. Again, you have access to this dividend income. You want to get that securities-backed line of credit, so you have access to those monies, and then you can even reinvest in other things or kind of use it in case you need it, in case of emergency. So now you have it. You can erase your mortgage without paying it off. If you want to learn more things about how to grow your wealth, how to get business credit and business funding, you need to come to the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. Go to growyourwealthbootcamp.com right now and use the code YouTube to save 50%. I am having a bootcamp on July 26, 2025. That's a Saturday, all day. I'm going to teach you how to get business credit, how to get business funding, how to use these funds to buy income generating assets. This is for any industry. It does not matter if you own a business or if you don't own a business. It doesn't matter if you're in real estate or if you're not in real estate. This is for every single industry. You literally can grow your wealth. You don't have to pay off your mortgage. You don't have to borrow money to get money. You can actually make lots of money, and you can even get $100,000 in business credit or business funded and do what I said in this video. You don't even have to have the money. They will lend to you in your business's name, and I will teach you all of that at the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. Go to growyourwealthbootcamp.com right now. Use code YouTube. I want to see you there on July 26, 2025, starting at 11 a.m. all day to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get your tickets now. Tickets are selling fast. Use code YouTube to save, because I want to make sure that you have all of the knowledge, all of the resources, and all of the tools that you need to be successful. Can't wait to see you at that bootcamp. This is Noelle. To your success.
Let's fix that.